Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. Long time no see. We are late. I am solo. Kyle will be here momentarily. He's dealing with the work situation. George is working his crappy shifts, and he's also at his son's baseball game tonight. So I'm flying the ship. I'm running everything, controlling the board, running late today. I will explain why, but we have so much to talk about. It's been such a long time since we've been on here. Obviously, there has been major moves in Cleveland, Ohio. Stay hydrated. With the Browns, huge news with the Guardians, huge news with the Cavs. So many things have happened. We're going to talk about all of that and more tonight. But again, Kyle just messaged. He's running a little behind because he has an issue going on. I'm running behind because I had some shit going on, and I will explain why here momentarily. Let me find how to do that because it's been a while since I've done this. So give me 1 second. I got to find the pictures for there it is. Did I do it? Hey, look at me. I'm a regular producer, and I undid it. There it is. Okay. All right. Last few weeks for me have been super busy. Obviously, family life. We've had parties, birthday parties, get-togethers with family members, fun events to take Teddy. We just took her over the weekend to Lakewood for the Touch a Truck event, which is where they have fire trucks and all this fun stuff. Fire trucks, ambulances, SWAT cars. They had garbage trucks. They had, construction equipment. They had everything. Kids got to go see it, sit on it, whatever, play with it. And she had a blast. She's obsessed with fire trucks, so we put her on a fire truck. She loved it. That was cool. I'm trying to think, man. It's been a while since we've done a show. I honestly don't even remember last time we did a show. I know it was in the middle of the playoffs because I was kind of pissed about the Cavs. I think they were probably against the Pistons the last time we did a show, and they have since been eliminated for weeks. It's been weeks. So we're going to talk about all that and more. The reason I'm late, and I'll tell Kyle this too when I get a chance to talk to him, but long story short, over the weekend, okay, speak of the devil, let's add him to the stage. There he is.
What's going on?
What's up?
Can you hear me, see me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. Sorry, a little bit complicated situation going on. So
shit happens.
Literally, shit happens.
Literally.
Good transition. We had
thank you.
My office in Cincinnati yesterday had a backup, and the toilet wasn't flushing. So we figured, all right, just call a plumber, have someone come out, snake it.
Makes sense.
Guy came out yesterday, snaked like 80 feet of snake, couldn't find anything. It was perfect down. Guy came out later in the night because it was like backing up into the branch now. Like something was like sewage was backing up into the branch. So then they came in and ran a 150-foot snake down another line, and it again went through, cleared, nothing's there. And so this landlord's a slumlord. Like, we're moving out of this location in a month, but he's a piece of shit. It's a longer story. But anyways, so all night goes, backs up again overnight. Come in today. The team, it smells obviously that I have. It's a health issue at this point.
Yeah, 100%. It's a hazard.
Out. Yeah, the city stops out thinking maybe it's a situation with like a main line. And so they do a run and check, and there's nothing, and everything's right. Everything's fine. So then finally we end up finding the issue. Like, one of the lines at the end of the shopping center was like flowing out of the sewage drain. So they had to get like a jetter system to come out and blow it, basically a whole jet system through to unclog it. We don't know what was clogging it, but they finally just fixed it. So, man, I tell you, it's been a random fun 2 days.
Now, how does that work with, you had mentioned you guys rent from a landlord there.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, you had to set up this whole fix. Now, is he going to have to pay for it in the long run, or is this just kind of you guys?
So it depends on where you're renting from, but every one of my branches has like a different contract with where they like rent from, basically. So this one, if it was internal, like we had caused a clog, like it was like one of our lines, like someone flushed something down or whatever, then we have a whole like real estate division that goes and sends like a contract team in to like look at it, and then we pay for it, blah blah blah. But then when we started finding out that it was actually more than just our location and is affecting the entire area, then it moves to the outside. Now it became his problem. So we basically had to communicate with him and say, look, you need to pay for it. You're dealing with it. We end up finding out today that this guy's like $18,000 in past due like water bills at this location. It's horrible. Like, this guy's a piece of shit. So
not great.
I don't know. Long story, but Yeah, so we finally got it cleared. We have a clean sanitation team coming in tomorrow to clean the entire office, rip out carpet that was destroyed, clean, sanitize, dry stuff out. So, yeah, it's a whole different another day of it, making sure it's clean to get the team back in there. But it's been a fun 2 days. I'll just say that.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Yeah,
I am late because we almost had to go to the ER for the first time for Teddy.
Oh, what happened?
Well, so long story short, it actually happened on Sunday. Um, she was over her cousins. It was a birthday party for Sophia. Shout out to my niece Sophia. She turned 16. We were over there. We were leaving, and Tara was walking. Tara went to her car with her sister, and she was like, "Hey, I'm going to go give Carissa some stuff." So she's coming to the car with her, and she's like, "You bring Teddy." Okay, no problem. So we're walking out of the house. A handful of people shooting some hoops in the front yard. No big deal. And they're like, "Oh, Teddy, do you want to shoot a basket? Your dad will pick you up." I'm like, "All right, sure." So I pick her up. She tries to shoot it. She obviously doesn't have the upper body strength, so the ball just falls, whatever. She's having a blast. So I put her down. We start to leave again. I'm like, "All right, Teddy, let's go. We got to leave. It's time to go." And again, I'll preface total accident. Somebody threw a ball and one of the people tried to chase it. They turned around, just ran after the ball, and they ran right into Teddy. She wiped out.
Oh,
I didn't see it because I had my back turned. I was picking something up, and she got trucked and supposedly hit her head on the concrete. It was a whole thing. She was okay. She cried. We brought her home. We did the standard concussion checks and everything and made sure she was okay, and she was acting completely normal. So we went on like normal. Obviously, we're questioning her. We're, count to 5. What's my real name? What's your mom's real name? What's your real name? Like, we're asking her all these questions. She's nailing everything. Everything's fine. So a couple days go by. Here we are Wednesday afternoon, and she was saying her stomach hurt. She wouldn't eat. She was refusing lunch. We're like, okay, it's very normal for her to fight lunch. So we listened to her. She's like, stomach hurts. I'm not hungry, whatever. We're like, all right, go take a nap. So she takes a nap. We get up. I come home from work, or she gets up. I come home from work. We have a whole day planned. Excuse me. We're going to run to a couple stores. We had to go grocery shopping, the works. So another thing I'll preface, she is thrown up from my driving multiple times. She gets a little motion sickness in the car. I'm a bit of a reckless driver, so she has thrown up a couple times. And we get to Aldi, and this was our last stop. So I had driven us all over Strongsville. She was in her car seat. As soon as we park, I pick her up out of her car seat, and I just hear her go, "Yeah." And I'm like, okay, that sounds like throw up. So I turn her around. Sure enough, she starts puking up the food I made her eat when I got home from work. I had her eat something because she didn't eat lunch. And she throws up. Okay, whatever. Not thinking anything of it. Come home from shopping, everything, make her dinner. We're all hanging out in the kitchen. And right before I'm supposed to start the show, Tara goes, "Hey, she has a fever. It's 100.4. She just threw up." So we're like, okay, that's weird. Obviously, those are also symptoms of a concussion. So we start to kind of panic. And I'm like, well, that's not good. She's been relatively fine. And then she tells me same thing. She goes, my stomach hurts. I have to go potty. I'm like, all right, let's go to the toilet. So I take her upstairs. She takes huge, for her size, huge shit, but it's a little wet, not to be gross. But so I tell Tara that. So Tara's like, okay, quote unquote, diarrhea. She threw up. She has a fever. Google it. And it's saying like, yes, this is an emergency. Take her in right now to an ER, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. So let's call somebody that has knowledge. So I call my mom, who's a registered nurse, RN, whatever, has a master's degree and everything for medical.
Sense, yeah.
Tara calls my sister, who same thing, has a master's. She's a nurse practitioner. She calls her. Same questions, just different rooms. We're going, hey, here's everything that's happening. Here's the full timeline. Do we need to take her to an ER, or is this something that is not to be alarmed? And basically, both of them said, just keep an eye on her. It's too far out for these symptoms normally. So it's probably just a weird coincidence that she has some kind of stomach bug a couple days after hitting her head. So basically, they put us at ease. They said everything should be fine. Obviously, keep an eye on her, get her looked at tomorrow, and go from there. But I was literally at 7:00 when I messaged. I said, I'm going to be late. We were contemplating taking her to an ER. So that's what we were doing. But all is good. She's in the bath right now. I think she's good.
Yeah, hopefully everything works out. It sounds like it's just one of those weird coincidences where you think it's one thing, but it's really not. But of course, your mind goes there because of
100%. We're like, okay, concussion symptoms. Like obviously, night one, they say, if they start vomiting or anything like that, that's a horrible sign for a concussion. But this is now 3 days later, and we gave all the symptoms and everything that's happened, and we got some reassurance that it's not urgent enough to take her to a med center unless she starts throwing up again. Because as soon as I got home from work, I fed her a bunch of food and then drove her around. And as soon as we parked, she threw up just that food. So it's like, okay, she clearly got sick in the car. I don't think she has she's not projectile vomiting every 10 minutes. She threw up food one time. So that's why we're like, I don't think this is the same as the concussion vomiting. So we'll keep an eye on her, see how everything goes, but I think she's going to be all right. So that was my evening today.
Yeah, I know we want to get into sports because we're up against here. I want to watch the start, and I still got work to do. But real quick, you asked me about the cruise, right? And so
Yes, I want to hear all about it.
So we went on the cruise last week, first time ever. I was, for a long time, I was like, I'm never doing a cruise. You can't get me on a ship, can't get off, whatever, all the other stuff. But it was probably the best time I've had ever. Like Jess and I were able to get away, just her and I, which we haven't been able to do in a long time. And it was amazing. The entire thing from start to finish, like we got in to Fort Lauderdale on Sunday. We stayed at a hotel, ended up Ubering down to the port Monday morning. We got checked in. We had like an upgrade. So they brought us to a different area and we sat and, they called our names to go on. We were the first aboard. We went through the smooth process all the way through. We got onto the ship, checked in, went to our rooms, dropped our bags, got our key cards, and we went and had a drink. Like I think from the time we walked on the ship to the time we had a drink in our hand, probably 40 minutes, if that.
It's not bad. Smooth. That's not bad at all.
But we didn't leave the port of Miami until like 5 that night because they had to make sure everyone's checked in because they had different check-in times throughout the day.
Yeah, it makes sense. They want everybody showing up at the same time. Yeah, that would be
right.
Yeah, too much.
So we're walking around the ship. They had activities going on, music playing. You had a party that night as we took off, and we didn't feel the ship at all. Like you couldn't feel a movie. You could see yourself moving, but you couldn't feel anything. But it was when that first night we just hung out, drank, played music. I had music, got a little drunk, whatever. We wake up the next morning. We're in Nassau. That was interesting, because Nassau, they warn you, like you actually have like a meeting that night and they tell you like, you can go to a certain part of Nassau. Like, here's the places we recommend. Anything outside of this section, we can't speak for. Make sure you use cash only if you're shopping anywhere outside of this area. Anything in this area, we have backed by like a cruise, whatever, so we can guarantee you're safe. But so we walked around and we did some shopping. We went to an Irish bar while we were there. Of course, we did the pirate museum, and we just walked around. It was cool. We got back on the ship, and then we again had a good time that night. They had different events. They had shows every night. It was cool. They had like a Queen tribute. They had a Michael Jackson one the last night. They had a magic show, and then they had like a Moulin Rouge type thing. But everything was great music. And then they had events everywhere in the ship. They had different decks, different patios you could go to. So then we wake up the next morning. We're in Ocean Cay, which is like their private island. They built this private island for just their cruise line. And you show up and you have like this entire island to yourself. There's like 9 different beaches. They've got buffet centers on the island. They have different bars everywhere. And we walked around, sat in the ocean half the day. We went and got food, walked around, took pictures. I mean, it was just so relaxing. And then so we stayed overnight there. They did like a beach party. They had a laser show. I'm sure you saw my pictures online, but the laser show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then we had the next day there until 4:00. And then we got back on and we had like a night where we traveled back into Miami that night. And honestly, best thing ever. I recommend it if you haven't done it. If you're thinking about it, do it. We went through MSC. Total cost out the door for both of us this is just the cruise. With the upgrades, the drink package, the Wi-Fi package was $1,700 for both of us. And that is a hell of a deal.
Bad.
Yeah, MSC is not expensive. It's not like Royal Caribbean stuff, but everyone says like MSC is like a hidden gem because it's like the ship's huge. But the drink package, the food was really good. They had buffets. They had like signature dinners that you could go sit down, like a sit-down restaurant, like nice and professional. They had like buffets if you wanted to go grab something quick to eat and go somewhere else. We did that too. Food was off the charts. The drinks were great. They had a casino in the middle. They had basketball court on the very top of the ship that you can go up there and play basketball if you wanted to. They had cornhole, and it was amazing. So if you're thinking about it and you want to like dip your toe in the water and save some money, do MSC. you'll enjoy yourself. It's definitely worth it. So highly recommend it. But I had a blast. We got back and it sucked. My tattoo survived. My extension of my tattoo
Oh, I
survived.
forgot you got that like right before you left.
Yeah, so I go tomorrow, actually Friday, to get the rest of my arm down here done a little bit, but it peeled a lot, but it's perfectly fine. So, and oh yeah, the spa, I forgot. So our package, you got a free upgrade to their spa, thermal spa, and you had like a hot tub, you had a steam room, you had a sauna, you had like a cold shower, like they called it a snow room. You walked in, there was snow and ice everywhere. It was like 8 different thermal things you could do. It was amazing. So relaxing, so relaxing. People reading books, like falling asleep in there. Like I said, I think it'd be up your guys' alley if you ever wanted to try it. Go MSC, you'll love it.
Yeah, so it's funny because Tara has been on a cruise when she was younger and doesn't want to do another one. She didn't like it. I've never been on one in my life, so I have no idea.
I recommend
it. I had family members that went on a different cruise. They went on Norwegian or whatever.
Yeah.
And they, the spa. Jess is a big fan of that.
That's nice.
You're going again in a month. Congratulations.
Yeah, news to me.
But yeah, no, it sounds awesome. A couple questions I do have. I was going to ask first and foremost, how does the drink work? But if you do a drink package, how does that work?
Yeah, so
is it literally just all day, or do they like limit you with stuff?
You have a cap of 15 per person, right? That you'll hit. So we hit it twice. But we were drinking all day, so you weren't drunk, but you had a nice buzz throughout the day.
Sure.
You get a wristband for your wrist. So when you walk up to the bar, you order wherever you want to. They scan your wrist, they pull up your profile, and then they just assign those drinks to you. So and then you can go through any bar on the ship, any bar on their private island. It works, but you can order anything they have. You can do beer, mixed drinks. I was doing Jameson and ginger all day. She was doing, I think, Captain and rum, and she was doing Sprite. And so I don't know, she's mixing her drinks too. But that's all it works. You go up, you scan your card, and that's how you do it. It's how you buy stuff too. It's a cashless ship, right?
Okay.
So when you go to buy stuff too, they scan your card or they scan your wristband, and then you have an app on your phone that if you buy something that you actually used money for and it wasn't part of your drink package, it'll show up on your app that you have a purchase. And then at the end of the trip, you'll just reconcile that when you're done. So at the last day, they'll charge your card that you have.
So what do you get charged for? Like what would you buy?
So at the last day we Jess brought some jewelry, bought some chocolates because they make their chocolate on the ship, which is really really
like actual like shopping. Okay, I thought you meant like you were buying like different drinks at the bar.
No, they have like a whole shopping center and tips, and they have all this kind of stuff you can get on the ship.
Okay. But other than that, it's all inclusive? Like you could eat all day? Do they have buffets 24/7?
They do. They have it early morning, late evening. I think one night we went and got food at like 11:30 at night before going back to our room. We just went and got a snack, but they have a huge wraparound buffet of everything you can think of. They change it out daily. So one day might have one thing, the next day they'll have like the same similar stuff, but that might not be the exact. So like they have grill, they have like Asian food, they have like, pasta, they have, desserts, they have all this random stuff that changes out all the time. And they have 2 buffets on 2 different levels. But they have like 10, 15 different bars on the ship. So every bar is like a different theme. So when you walk in, there's like different stuff they make. I mean, it's just, like I said, it was relaxing. We had no surprises really. It was carefree and it was easy to go up and we tip with like $1, $2 here and there to tip them, but you order a drink, they bring it out to you, or you can go pick it up at the bar, go sit on the deck and just sit back and relax. It's just
hell yeah. That sounds awesome. I mean, honestly, it does sound like a really good time and I am overdue for a vacation. I can assure you on that. So it sounds good.
It was funny because we're sitting there in Nassau the one day, and I wake up, I open the door, and here comes the Disney cruise ship rolling in right next to us. And like they have their foghorn is the "When You Wish Upon a Star," but like in a fog.
Hell yeah!
And we were sitting up on our private deck the one night, sitting in a hot tub, or afternoon, sitting in our hot tub, and we were looking at the Disney cruise ship, watching the movie Up because they had playing like a big screen. So we were sitting in our hot tub on deck 19, looking over at their ship, watching a cartoon movie, which is amazing. So
it's a good time. Yeah, I'm assuming when you're inside for like the theater and stuff like that, is that all in the ship or is that outdoors?
Yep, all in the ship. Yeah, so like there's a
all
theater
conditioned and everything.
Everything, yeah, it's all like multiple like theater seating and everything. Big stage,
really nice.
It's a lot of people. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, hey, something for us to discuss. I know we're looking right now to book our anniversary trip this year. We're gonna get away and leave Teddy home with some family. So Tara and I
Nice.
have been talking about that. We don't know where we're going to go.
If you guys decide to do a cruise at the end of the year, I'm sure maybe we can maybe go with you if you want or something.
I'll let her know. I think she's got her heart set on the Dominican again, per usual, but we'll see. We haven't sat down and actually talked about it.
Shake it up. As an adult, I think she'd probably appreciate the cruise.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to try one. I'd like to go to. I want to go to Jamaica. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go to a bunch of different places. So
we're looking at an Alaska.
What's up, dude? Congratulations on the new location. Haven't had a chance to talk to you, man, but that's awesome. I've been watching the progress. Congratulations, dude.
We're looking at an Alaskan cruise now because we sat next to a couple at the bar in Nassau, and they were saying that they travel all the time.
Yeah.
And they said they did an Alaskan cruise once where you cruise for like 7 days, but like 3 of the days of that 7-day cruise, Royal Caribbean actually books you like on land, like excursions. So you'll go stay at like a cabin. You'll do like a wilderness thing where you get out there and see all the Alaskan side, and then you get you back on the ship and you continue your cruise. I'm like, that would be amazing because that'd be the only time I go to Alaska is to like witness that, and then I'm done. I'm good. One time and I'm done.
You don't have to like fly there, and like it's not an inconvenience. Like you get to enjoy yourself, get to Alaska, do your thing, and then you're gone. That's really cool. And not much, Dave, just hanging in there, dude. Family life, you know how it goes. That's pretty much my whole life. I just work and I come home, and then I have another my full-time job as dad. So that's pretty much it. That's my life.
But enough taking up our BS time. We can get into the sport.
But no, dude, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I was loving the pictures. Looks like you guys had a blast. And I told you right before you left, I was like, I'm looking forward. I want your review because I've never been on a cruise. So I want to know like somebody, you and I are like-minded people, opposed to like other people that like enjoy different things. So if you like it, I know I would like it. So that's why I'm like, I need to find out what they think.
I had reservations before. I told Jess, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, I want to do it because I want to go with you and be with you and go do something. But like, I was like, I get like my anxiety.
I don't want to feel trapped. That's my thing on the ship is like, I'm stuck. Like I can't get off. I can't do anything. I'm literally stuck here. I don't like that.
There's so much to do because like your app shows, like when you get your app, like the app you have on your phone, it is show you, and the Wi-Fi in the ship works perfect. Like it's amazing, right? But it shows like it's like 60 to 70 activities every single day. Like it's planned out. Like every 30 minutes, there's something going on somewhere in the ship that you can go if you want to go find something to do. Look on your app. You can go to that specific deck and do that activity. It's like they had like game playing night. They had board game night. They had one area was doing karaoke, which I sent videos of. The other area was doing like a Sudoku tournament. One was doing like they had a basketball one-on-one tournament. Upstairs.
Something different every time.
Like something different for everyone to appeal to that person. So yeah. Thanks, Dave. Trip was great. You missed my spiel. I don't want to go back, but it was amazing.
He had a great time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. With that said, BS is short and sweet today because we're only doing like give or take an hour. Obviously, I ran late because of Teddy. And then let's see, is this the one he made? No. So not Dave. I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. George did not get us updated anything for Myles. That's okay. All right. Well, we're talking Browns right now. We don't have a Myles slide. George is slacking. Definitely going to hear about that from HR tomorrow, but we'll use this one for now with Jim Schwartz, I suppose. Basically, for those of you that don't live under a rock, you all know that Myles Garrett was traded last week to the Los Angeles Rams. The Browns decided to pull the trigger. I know we're a week late, but we're finally giving our thoughts on everything. And my thoughts really haven't changed. I love Myles Garrett. I love watching him every week, but I fully understand because sorry.
Real quick.
Oh, you're good.
I know you like to make money. So have you been on FanDuel recently?
A little bit, yeah.
So they have that USA to record one total shot versus Paraguay. It's a plus like whatever. So if you bet 25, you win 25 basically. So you can bet 25, win 50.
Oh yeah, like win 25 if USA has one shot.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's a gimme.
Yeah, it's a gimme. It's like a -1. It's like a -10,000. So
when is that game?
Like a 10,000 boost Thursday.
Okay. Yeah, what the heck? A 1,000% profit boost.
Correct. So there you go. A quick $25 in your pocket. There you go.
And that game is 6/12. So it's Friday? Is today the 10th?
Today's the 10th, so it's Friday.
Okay. Hell yeah. Sweet. Thank you. Appreciate that. I would have skipped right over it because I wasn't even going to look at any soccer bets. Yeah. But yeah, cool. I'll definitely do that. But yeah, so Myles Garrett was officially traded to the Los Angeles Rams. It's funny because about 24 hours before they announced it, I was literally talking to my brother-in-law, Con, and I said, June 1st is a big day for the Browns because that's when the new contract changes set in for Myles Garrett. And I said, do not be surprised if he gets traded. He was like, what? No, who's going to trade for him? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, look at the Rams. Short window before their Super Bowl window closes because they have Matthew Stafford. They're going all in. And sure enough, 24 hours later, traded to the Rams. I had no inside information. I simply put that together just based on like who makes sense, and I nailed it.
It's pretty impressive.
Bittersweet. Thank you very much. Again, I love watching Myles Garrett. The Browns suck. I'm the first to admit that. I'm not stupid. The Browns are a bad football team. The one silver lining I got to watch every week was Myles Garrett take over a football game, whether that was jumping over the center to block a field goal, getting a crazy sack at a huge moment, tackling Lamar Jackson, like something like that. He always had big plays, and he was the only real reason to watch the Browns football, if I'm being honest, for the last couple of years, play football. And that's gone. However, they did replace him with a very, very good young player in Jared Verse. For those of you that don't know, Jared Verse was a first-round pick out of Florida State just 2 years ago from the LA Rams. He is now entering year 3 as a professional. So he is still under his rookie contract. The Browns control him for 3 more years, and then they can extend him actually after this season. But he's 25. Myles Garrett's 30. That is huge in football terms. The Browns just got a lot younger and a lot cheaper, which is huge for the Browns, who are in a rebuild. Fans don't want to hear that, but the Browns are in year 2 of a rebuild. So getting salary cap relief like that is huge. Next year, Deshaun Watson won't be on the team anymore. His salary cap cut or relief will happen. Denzel Ward probably isn't long for this team and for a couple more years. So the big contracts are coming off the books. They're getting young. They're getting rookies. They're getting young people. So again, bittersweet because again, I'm not stupid. I understand that Myles Garrett takes a lot of plays off. I understand that Myles Garrett is a selfish player. He's not a team leader. We all know that. The multiple car accidents, the setting records, but not like demanding the trade last year should have been right there, the tell-all for everybody. And I said it then. There were people that said Myles Garrett only signed that contract because he cares about money, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, he has no choice. He still hates being in Cleveland. Sure enough, the Browns basically made him a slave and forced him to stay here and play for them last year. And then they traded him a year later because he set the NFL record. So I don't know if behind closed doors that was the deal. They said, you break the record, we'll trade you, but you're setting that record in a Browns uniform. Otherwise, we're not trading you. And he went out there motivated as ever, set the NFL record, all-time sack leader, and now he is an LA Ram, and he is gone forever. He did write a bullshit AI Chat GPT piece of where he thanked the fans and how much he hates saying goodbye and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you tried to leave last year and you shit all over the city on Super Bowl week. So go fuck yourself. You can keep that to yourself. I have no pity for him. I like the Rams. I like Matt Stafford. I like Sean McVay. Seeing Myles get a ring, there's worse teams that I don't want to see get a championship. So if I have to root for an NFC team that has an actual Super Bowl window, I'll take the Rams. Sure. All day. I'll support Myles next year. But really not that surprising to me. As soon as they restructured that contract back in like February or whenever it was, that's the first thing I said. I'm like, they're trading Myles. That's all they're doing is they're setting themselves up perfectly to get rid of him. And sure as shit, gone. So, that's just my thoughts on the matter. Kyle, I don't know where you stand on it. I know, we talked a little bit about it, but obviously you were on your cruise. So,
it was definitely talked about on the cruise because I had the one day that when it happened, I was wearing my swim trunks. They had a Browns logo on it. So of course people like saw that like, oh, what do you think about the Myles Garrett trade? I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay with it. To be honest, look, love Myles Garrett to death. I don't think you'll ever see a defensive player like him again. Like he's just a beast, right? Takes over a game.
One of one for dominates.
But I think if you're looking at a roller coaster, I think we're here with Myles Garrett now, and we're not here anymore, right? It's now going this way. And I still think he's going to dominate, right? That defense in LA is still good. I think he's still going to have a chance to dominate. But I think the fact that we saw what the future held and we had a chance to unload that, then we did. And look, getting Verse back in that trade, huge, right? He's not as talented as Myles, but he could be. He could be really fucking good. He's young. He's just coming into his own. I mean, how many years did it take Myles to be that dominant? He was good, but he wasn't like what he is now. It took him like 1 or 2 years to get going. And this kid's already a defensive rookie of the year, Pro Bowl. Like, I mean, I'm okay with it. And we unloaded that money on it too. And we got picks back, right? So I'm okay with it. I'll miss Myles. Wish him the well. Wish him best. But I have to turn a question back to you. What are your thoughts on the whole Aaron Donald rumor? What do you think about that?
I mean, it makes sense. He's in phenomenal shape for his age. The one thing I joked about with my buddies, because they asked the same thing, and I said, how funny would it be if he's taken the last like 2 years or however long he's been retired, and he's just been using steroids to get himself as jacked as possible, and then he can now come back to the NFL because he'll get off of whatever he was taking to get jacked. So
yeah,
for the record, I'm not accusing Aaron Donald of doing steroids. I don't want to get sued.
Heard it here first, folks.
But I just said the timeline works out that he could have been taking steroids for the last couple of years if he wanted to, because he's retired. So now he can unretire, and he has 2 years of, the strength training that nobody else could do because he was doing it illegally. And he was already a dominant player. So him coming back to chase another championship would be really cool. And that defensive line would be fucking insane if that happens. Though the only thing is, I don't know how it works like financially, because he retired. So I think
do they own the rights to him? Can he come back? And
that's what happened with Gronk. Like Gronk retired from the Patriots, then he unretired to come back to Tampa Bay a year later, and Patriots had to trade him because the Patriots still owned his rights. So if you retire, you just get put on a list for the team. They still own your rights. So I think he would come back and still be under contract. I'm sure they could rework it, but that's the thing, is I don't know. I'd have to look at their cap situation. But like, how do you afford Matt Stafford? How do you afford Puka Nacua? You have Devontae Adams. You have Myles Garrett. You might have Aaron Donald. Like, how are you affording all this? That's insane. But I'm sure that there's a will, there's a way.
It reminds me of the Tom Brady Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
100%. This is like, hey, let's all get together. We're going for one more championship, one more swing. Let's do it. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is essentially the quote unquote last dance for the LA Rams. They already drafted what they think is their replacement for Matthew Stafford, whether that's next year or the year after. Stafford's not getting any younger. Devontae Adams isn't getting younger. As you mentioned, Myles Garrett, not a spring chicken anymore. Aaron Donald, not a spring chicken anymore. So they really are in their final year. They are what the Pittsburgh Steelers tried to be for the last few years by getting Aaron Rodgers, by getting Russell Wilson. They're like, hey, we have this small little Super Bowl window. Let's go for it. And they just fell apart because they were not a good football team in Pittsburgh. But the Rams are doing it the right way. The Rams were just a couple, crazy plays away from being the 1 seed last year. They were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl. So very good team. Obviously, that doesn't guarantee success in the 2026 season, but they're definitely in the right direction. I do like them as a favorite out of the NFC personally, just because of the addition of Myles Garrett. But as you mentioned, Jared Verse, probably not going to be Myles Garrett. I don't expect Jared Verse to get me 15 sacks a year. But if he could get me 10 to 15, give me 12, 13, whatever, very happy with that. The one thing Jared Verse does so much better than Myles Garrett, well, two things I should say. Two things he does so much better than Myles Garrett. He has a better motor, for one, meaning he played the most snaps for any defensive end in the NFL last year. Myles Garrett takes a lot of plays off. Jared Verse tries to play every single snap. So having a 3-down defensive end is huge, because Myles Garrett was kind of a 1 or 2 down guy. He would come in on passing situations a lot. When he was a little tired, he wouldn't come out there for plays they thought would be, 1st and 10. They're probably going to run. Myles Garrett's not going to be out there. He's going to sit on the bench because he doesn't want to be a part of a running play most of the time, which is okay. Whatever, that's his prerogative. He still dominated. And then you go to Jared Verse, who's actually a really good defender against the run. That's huge for the Browns. Myles Garrett did not do that. So you replaced him with a guy who does some things better, except for pass rushing. The one thing, though, I'll say is the pass rush win percentage for defensive ends last year. Myles Garrett was number 1. Jared Verse was number 2. I believe it was 16 point, basically 17% for Myles and then 16% for Jared Verse. So they were neck and neck, which is great. I'm not coming on here and saying that Jared Verse is going to be Myles Garrett, but I do think this is a great replacement. And that's exactly why he was the key part of this trade, because everything I heard said Andrew Berry's not making this trade if they don't include Jared Verse. He told them, I want Verse or I'm not doing the deal. They caved. They gave up Verse. And for the fans out there that bitched and moaned for the last few days or week or whatever about we didn't get enough. I wanted 3 first-round picks. Jared Verse, if traded today, probably would get 2 first-round picks, if not a 1 and a 2, which is still great value. So consider that when you think of everything. You traded Myles Garrett for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, and Jared Verse, who is the equivalent of another first-round pick and another second-round pick. That is a ton of draft capital. The Browns are in good shape for the 2027 draft. That's the draft I always said to get as many picks for as possible, because that's a huge QB draft. I know it's early. Things can change, but I do think this is going to be the year that the Browns take a swing on their franchise quarterback, and having those extra draft picks is huge. So I like the trade.
I don't expect much out of him this year, but I have to know where your mind's at right now. Quarterback battle. Keep on seeing all these reports that they think that the battle's neck and neck between Watson and Shedeur. Is that just a media twist to it, or do you think really it's just Watson and there's no way that Shedeur wins that starting job?
I think it's Watson, and I think they're letting Shedeur get a little extra reps, because who needs more reps, a second-year player or a guy who's in year 10? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson should not be getting reps. I understand he fully needs them. He hasn't played in damn near 2 years, and realistically, he's only played like enough games for 1 season out of the last 5 years. That's crazy. But at the same time, I do think they're kind of letting Shedeur play himself out of the competition. I haven't seen a lot of footage. Obviously, the media is kind of limited with what they can see at these OTAs and stuff like that. So you see some clips. One thing I've noticed that's funny to me is the Browns are showing highlights of Shedeur Sanders throwing touchdowns or, great passes, whatever. But if you actually watch what's happening in the clip, you see Jared Verse. There was one play specifically yesterday that I want to mention. Shedeur threw a deep ball to Casey Concepcion, and everybody on social media was freaking out. They're like, this is it. This is the year. It's going to be Sanders to Casey all fucking year. He's so good. Wrists up, blah, blah, blah. And I watched the clip. Jared Verse, and I'm not kidding you, he gets right up to Shedeur, but it's practice, so he can't touch him. So he stands there and watches him as Shedeur takes 2 more pumps on the football, turns his body a couple times, throws it. And you look at that and you go, that's a sack. Jared Verse would have had the easiest sack in football, or any defensive player. That's a sack. And they're looking at the highlight going, look at how good Shedeur is. It's like that play would never happen in real football. That is not a good play. And I think the coaching staff sees that. That's something that I'm in my head, because the media, of course, the new thing is, I think it was yesterday. They're like, oh, Shedeur took all the first team reps. He's running away with this. He's taken the lead from Watson. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Maybe there's some validity to this. And then I see that clip and I go, okay, the coaches see this behind the scenes. What everyone's pumping their chests out and being excited for on Twitter, because Shedeur threw a touchdown, he's getting his ass chewed out by Todd Monken probably in the film room, because he's going, why are you holding the ball for 6 fucking seconds? That's a sack. Look at this guy. He's going to kill you. And everyone on Twitter is like, hell yeah, Shedeur. So when I see things like that, that makes me go, okay, he still doesn't have the pocket presence. He doesn't have the field vision. He doesn't have the awareness. His timing is still terrible, which was a huge concern. And I think practice is just showing that, again, for the coaches, they see that. And I think it's Watson's job to lose. Don't get me wrong, I don't expect Deshaun Watson to stay healthy, so I do think we will see Shedeur at quarterback eventually this year. I just don't think giving him the start is the right move. But my stance on it. I'm in the position of, let's say the Browns go 6-8 or whatever, not 6-8, sorry, 6-10 or 11. Sorry, it's 17 now. Let's say they go 6-11 this year. Okay, you're middle of the pack. Maybe that's enough to, not even 6. I'll go a little higher. Let's say we're 7-10 or 8-9. We're close to 500. We're a little bit better than last year, close to 500. And let's say that's Shedeur that plays. and let's say his numbers are like they were last year. He has a higher interception ratio than touchdowns. He has a low quarterback rating. He's just not that great, but the Browns are winning games. That's the excuse people make of why Shedeur should play. You're stuck in a situation now. You're in the middle of the draft. You have a guy who won you games. Do you keep rolling with him? Do you try to draft another quarterback, start more controversy? Like, I just don't want the headache this season. I expect the Browns to be a bad football team. The extra drama that comes with Shedeur Sanders is truly, for me specifically, it's tiring. Just because I'm not like, I don't hate the kid. It sounds like I do. I just know he's not a good football player. I don't think he's a good quarterback. So as a Browns fan, I'm like, don't waste my time with him. And the fact that it's a circus with the media is just not something I want. So for me, I would go with Deshaun Watson personally, but I do see the tweets coming out and everything of like, oh, Shedeur's getting first team reps over Watson and blah, blah, blah. But gun to my head, I think it's Deshaun Watson's job, barring any injury.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, at this point, I don't care who you go with. It's not really going to do much. If anything, in my opinion, I still think that Watson has more to play for. I mean, it's the last year of his deal with us.
Yeah, whether he comes, I don't think he comes back to Cleveland next year, but he is auditioning for a job. He's still a 30-something-year-old guy that could play in the NFL next season.
That's what I was thinking. It was like,
yeah, a team could bring him on and be like, yeah, I'll give you a cheap 1-year contract. You sit as my backup. If I need you to come into a game, let's see what you can do. And maybe he kind of rejuvenates his career. So I do think this is a huge year for him. Now, my second thought process.
I said that to a couple people, and they looked at me like I'm crazy. What does he have to play for? He's already got all that millions of dollars. I'm like, yeah, but he has something to play for because he wants more money, and he wants to be able to go and end his career maybe on a high note and not be his long-lasting legacy be, oh, I was great in Houston, went to Cleveland after this personal issue. I lost my mind. I couldn't throw the football anymore. And I fell out of the league, right? I think he probably wants to go on a higher note than that. So I think
there is such a pride for athletes, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a great point. Gilbert Arenas just did a podcast the other day, and they asked him. They said, what was life like after you retired? You were worth like, I forgot how much it said, $200 million or something like that. Like Gilbert Arenas was filthy loaded. Don't get me wrong, generational wealth. And he goes, that didn't matter. He's like, and it's the same thing for Deshaun. If you're a professional athlete, you didn't get there because you're lazy, because you just rolled out of bed every morning and go to work. You bust your ass to get to perfect your craft. Even the lowest guy on any roster in any sport is a phenomenal athlete, truth be told. I know, don't get me wrong, we can watch a game and be like, this guy sucks. He's, this guy's a bum. But if, I don't know, the worst player on the Cavs roster, I know it's not, but we'll say like currently, Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. is a phenomenal basketball player compared to anybody else. He would go to any gym in the world and dominate. You know what I mean? Like, he's a phenomenal player. But on the Cavs, you're like, oh, this guy sucks. Get him off my team. Same thing with like Deshaun. This guy sucks. He's got all of his money. He is one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played football. He was great in Clemson. He was great, in Houston for years. He's a phenomenal athlete to be that good in his career. And there is a pride thing with these guys because, as Gilbert Arenas said, he said, my whole life was basketball. When I was a kid, I played in basketball leagues year round. I traveled. I played, I think he went to college. Then he got drafted or went to the NBA, played in the NBA. He's like, my whole life is basketball. All I've ever known is wake up, work out, play ball, eat lunch, take a nap, wake up, play ball, work out. Like, he's like, that's my whole life. So when I retired, he's like, I didn't know what to do with myself because that's all I've ever known. And it's the same thing with Watson. Watson does have all the money in the world, but what does he know? Football. All he knows in his whole life is just play football, practice quarterbacking, take care of your arm, meet with your teammates. Like, everything he's done his whole life is just that's his job. He's done that his whole career. And even before, like in high school, he was doing this kind of stuff. So I do think that there is a pride factor for him where, yeah, like you said, he's not just going to go, Browns paid me, fuck you, I'm done with football. He wants to keep playing. Now, there are guys that do that. There are plenty of people that have come in the NFL or come into a sporting event or league. They get their money, and that changes them. They get lazy, and they start going, well, fuck football. I already have my money. And those are the guys that bust out of the league. But if you have a guy that's been in the league for 10 plus years, he's not there because he's lazy and doesn't care about the game. It's because he loves it. So he's not just going to go, fuck you, I got paid, I'm out. He had tens of millions of dollars before he came to Cleveland, which would have been plenty to retire on if he wanted to. He chose to keep playing. So, I do think 99% of pro athletes, they don't ever want to go out on a bad note. They don't want to go out stinking the place up. So I do think there is a lot to play for. The one thing I thought about, though, and I want your thoughts on it. If I'm Todd Monken, do you just name Shedeur the starter and let him go out there? And then if he plays shitty and like shits the bed, you can just pull the plug and say, here you go. I gave your guy a shot. He played terribly. He's done. That's it.
I don't think he wants to name him the starter. I think Monken's. I got to start putting some respect to Monken. I think just listen to his news conferences and how he talks. I think there's something behind his way, right? I think that. Hold on a second here.
No, you're good.
Right,
I'll speak about Monken.
My food's here. Give me 1 second. I'm right back. I want to finish.
You're good. I'll talk about Todd Monken too while you're gone. No, I agree. That's the other thing too that I tried to tell a lot of people when Todd Monken was hired, because everyone was like, when people were bitching about the Browns coaching vacancy after they fired Stefanski, I told a lot of people, I said, it's probably not a very appealing job. You have tight cap space. You have you're getting forced into bed with your GM, Andrew Berry. There was no let's hire the coach and then hire the GM, or let's hire a new GM, then hire a new coach. This was, hey, you're going to come work for Andrew Berry, whether you like it or not. And that's a lot of times can be problematic with professional sports when you try to force people together, because they might have totally different philosophies, totally different, just roster building thoughts and ideas. And obviously you want to try to get guys that are close. So they interview and they say like, hey, I'm analytically driven. I do this. What do you do? What do you think? And then they talk, they collaborate. So I'm sure Monken and Berry were able to come together as like, hey, this can work. I think this is going to be a good fit. But at the same time, one thing I try to tell a lot of people about it was Todd Monken's getting his first head coaching job ever. He's 65 years old or whatever. This is it. He's probably never going to get another shot to be a head coach in the NFL. So he's going out with a fucking bang. He has no filter when he's talking to the media, which I do enjoy it. I also kind of find some of it disingenuous, but because I think he just knows that he can get a media clip out of any little quote. And I think because people pretend like they hate Stefanski still, and they're like, oh, I'm so glad he's gone, his boring interviews. So Monken knows if he says something a little fiery, that it's going to get people to be like, oh, God, this is so fucking great compared to Stefanski. Don't get me wrong. It's the same thing as Dan Campbell. It's great right now. When you start losing, nobody wants to hear your fucking snide remarks and funny things. Now. Ask Mike McDaniel in Miami before he got canned. He was every week. He was the media's best friend. He was so funny and charming. Then they started losing and everyone started going, oh, this guy's an alcoholic again. He looks like shit. He's depressed. He's this. It changes overnight. So it's win or shut up. That's pretty much it. But the big thing that I had with whatever coach they brought in is no coach is going to hitch their wagon to Shedeur Sanders. And what I mean by that is Todd Monken's not going to come here, take the job and be like, yes, my first head coaching job ever. Yes, I will 100% force Shedeur Sanders to be my starting quarterback for the sake of the team or the GM for that matter. Even though I don't think he can win. No coach is going to do that. The coach is going to say, fuck you. I want to start my guy who I think is going to win because I need to win or else I'm going to get fired. And I think Monken is a contender for a one and done coaching year if the Browns suck. And I think he might know that too. So starting Shedeur Sanders could be a detriment to the team. Now, if he thinks Shedeur literally gives them the best chance to win, okay. But if it fails, you need to have consequences for that, and that would be termination. So we'll see how it all plays out for the Browns, but they are a new team now. Jared Verse is in. Myles Garrett is out. They have draft picks. They have cap space. They have still a lot of drop issues, according to the footage I saw. Still no good QBs on the roster. Still a lot of problems, but they're trying to dig themselves out of this tunnel.
We're in typical Browns mode. Perfect. Great.
This is just, as of right now, there's no hope for this season, and it's June 10th. Whereas, ask me this question in training camp in about a month. That's where everybody starts to get excited, and they're like, oh, I think the team's going to be pretty good this year. And that's when everybody gets excited. The weather's warm. Football season's right around the corner. We have a little bit of hope. Then week 1 starts, and then all hope is lost. So we'll see if that trend continues, but that's typically how it goes. Really quickly, we're going to be wrapping up here around give or take 8:30 because I want to watch the NBA Finals. I'll be honest with you guys. I want to watch that game. It's been a very good series. So really quickly, we'll talk a little bit about the Cavs. Obviously, the Cavs got swept by the Knicks. Super disappointing. James Harden throughout the entire playoffs was one of the hardest players to root for and to watch, for that matter. And I mean, I was very honest when that trade happened on here. I wasn't that thrilled. I know a lot of people were like, fuck yeah, we got James Harden. I was like, I really don't know how I feel about this trade yet. I don't know if this is going to be a good fit. And sure enough, it doesn't look like a good fit. But the way they did this trade, because they're in the second apron, they're going to have to extend James Harden with a 2-year, $70 million contract, give or take, that will put them below the second apron. And that unfortunately will put James Harden on my team for the next 2 seasons. Don't love it. Don't love it at all. Donovan Mitchell, likely to sign an extension in the offseason. Do they trade Evan Mobley or Jared Allen? One thing I will say is the Giannis Antetokounmpo rumors, I think, are about to be put to bed. I think the deal, from what I've read, the deal is done. He's going to Miami. That'll be announced within the next week or so. But Giannis will be... What I'm seeing is a mix of picks and players.
Bam.
Anywhere from... I've seen Tyler Hero, Cale Ware, and Jaime Jaquez, or Jamie Jaquez, however you say his name, and then a bunch of draft picks. So basically just a bunch of players and a bunch of draft picks. Giannis is going to be a Miami Heat in the next couple of weeks, is what I've heard.
I don't know how that, to me, it doesn't make sense, but I mean, I guess, okay.
No, they're not a better team. Tyler Hero, although he has some bad nights, he is a really good shooter. He could put up 20 to 30 points, in a heartbeat. A lot of hustle, a lot of heart from him. He's a good player, good passer. Cale Ware, he is a very good rebounder. He's a nice young forward / center, gets a ton of rebounds. He's a good guy to have in the paint. And then Jaquez was okay. I mean, he played really well against the Cavs. I don't really watch a lot of Heat games, if I'm being dead honest, so I'm not too familiar with his game. I do know that he's a bench player, and when I've seen him play against the Cavs, he seems to get some decent minutes and seems to be very productive. So I don't have a lot of background on him right now. I'm familiar with him. I know he's in like his second or third year or whatever. I remember when he came into the league, but I don't exactly know. His value for the trade is kind of like he's a throw-in player. I don't think he's really going to hurt the Heat, and I don't think he's going to help them too much either. So he's kind of a throw-in. If that's the case, that is the rumor that I've seen, is he will be going to the Heat eventually. Whether it's for what I saw, I don't know. It was unverified information, but I do believe he will be traded within the next week, and it will not be to Cleveland. Which then shifts focus back to what are the Cavs going to do?
We would probably have to give up a lot for him anyways. And
well, I mean, it's kind of interesting to see, because if that's the trade package, if it's Tyler Hero, who's a good player, he's nothing special. He's not an All NBA. He's not, and he's. I think he's maybe been to a couple All-Star games, if that. He's not a superstar, if you will. Same thing with Ware. Same thing with Jaquez. They're not superstars. They're good players, but they're not superstars. Trading Evan Mobley, which is the rumor. Everybody's always talked about how a Giannis for Evan Mobley trade would happen, or would get the deal done. Comparing that to the package that I'm hearing is crazy. That would be like us. We would need to trade Max Strus, Craig Porter Jr., like a couple throw-in guys off the bench. That would be the equivalent for this trade. Evan Mobley is a all-defensive NBA player, a defensive player of the year. He's an all-star. He has a much better resume than Tyler Hero. So that alone would be like, okay, I'm not giving you any draft picks then, Milwaukee. If you want Giannis, or if you want to trade Giannis for Evan Mobley, straight up, I'll do that. That's it. But I'm not throwing in draft picks. I'm not throwing in extra shit. If you were going to trade him to Miami for a bunch of fucking role players, essentially, that's craziness. So I don't want to do that trade if it involves getting rid of Evan Mobley, although I did grow very frustrated with Evan Mobley at times. But he actually, in my opinion, I think he was the best player in the playoffs for the Cavaliers from game one till they got swept by the Knicks. I think he was their best player, most consistent. You had some good games from Mitchell, then you had really bad games. You had good games from Harden, then really bad games. Good games from Allen. Mobley was pretty consistent. He had good games, then he had average games. He never really had bad games, except for a couple where he had like 2 rebounds. But sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. I won't hold a rebound against the guy. If you go back and actually watch a game, there could be a game where you're like, how the fuck does it's halftime. How does Wemby only have 2 rebounds? You're 7-5. That's fucking crazy. But if you actually watch the game, you just go, okay, literally the ball bounced away from him every time. Like, he couldn't get rebounds. Like, you can't fault a guy for that. It's not like he's soft and shit like that. But that's what Cavs fans say. They go, oh, Mitchell or Allen and Mobley only had 2 rebounds last game. They're fucking soft. But it's like, did you actually watch it? Did they get bodied down below? Why didn't they get rebounds? I actually look at it for context, but nobody does that. But I digress. I don't know. I am torn on what I think the Cavs can do. Again, getting under the second apron is step one, but then they have to make some moves and facilitate and get some players, because you're more than likely going to lose Keon Ellis. The rumor is it is between Keon Ellis or Dean Wade to get a contract similar to last year. Last year, it was between Sam Merrill or Ty Jerome, and the Cavs said, come here, Sam. Do I think they did that because he was the cheaper of the two? Yes. And that's okay. I love Ty Jerome, no ill will, but he completely got himself to the point where he couldn't be on the floor in that Indiana series. He was such a liability on defense that we had to bench him. So I'm okay with keeping Sam Merrill over Ty Jerome for that circumstance, because there is a good chance you would have needed Ty Jerome to play against somebody in the playoffs this year. And I don't think he would have been as productive as Sam Merrill. Simply because of his poor defensive play. So they made the right decision. This year, it's Keon Ellis or Dean Wade. Do they keep Dean Wade this year only because he's cheaper than Keon Ellis probably will be? To me, that makes sense, and I think that's what they're going to do. We also have no small forwards on this team at all. No true small forwards. Dean Wade, not even a true small forward, but he's the closest thing we have. So keeping him makes more sense than keeping Keon Ellis, who's not a small forward. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like they're doing it out of necessity, not out of roster building. And because they think he's a better player, they're just like, fuck, we need somebody to play the 3 and to guard people. I guess Dean Wade it is. And we need a backup power forward also, because we don't really have those. So when Mobley and Allen need to go on the bench, I don't have a center. So I guess Dean Wade makes the most sense. And that's kind of the way they're going. But I will say, if they get out of the second apron after they do the Harden deal, they will have more trade flexibility and options. So I am curious to see what they do. There's the rumors of LeBron wanting out of LA. However, the Cavs would have to trade for him. What are you trading for LeBron James? What are you going to give up for a 1-year rental, more than likely? For me, not much. I wouldn't do that. I love LeBron James. I would love to have him back in Cleveland.
And peanuts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be okay with LeBron back in Cleveland, just whatever. But I mean, you can't have expectations, right? You got to look at it as more of him coming back to Cleveland as kind of a farewell thing. Can he still be productive? Sure. I'm not starting him though. Not in a team as it sits right now. Do you start? I guess maybe you'd have to start him, but
yeah, no question. I mean, LeBron can still put up 20 and 8 and 8 a night, so that's definitely starter quality. Mm-hmm. He's still very good.
I just feel like it'd be too pricey for us to go for somebody who.
Well, that's the thing, right?
Only here for a year.
It all depends. If he ends up becoming a free agent and you can get him for the vet minimum, if he would come here and play for a minimum contract, sure, all day I take him. But again, if you need to trade, the only way we can trade is we have to match salaries. And to match LeBron James's salary would be it would be we'd have to get rid of Jared Allen and other players. And it's I'm not gutting those guys for a 1-year LeBron James. And I love LeBron James. But I would bring him in, no question, but I'm only doing it for the right price. And unfortunately, I don't think we can afford him because I don't think he's going to take a discount. And obviously, I don't think the Lakers are going to say, yeah, give us whatever bullshit you want. We'll give you LeBron James. They want a good return. And I don't think there's any trade package worth the Cavs doing because LeBron's great. Don't get me wrong. But do I think he is a piece? If we have to subtract anybody, I mean, we'd have to subtract a good player or two to get him. Is that worth doing? Does that make you better than the Knicks? Does that make you better than the Celtics when they're fully healthy? Probably not. So I don't do that. But the Cavs need to do something because, in my opinion, you cannot bring this roster back next year as is. I am so sick of every year in the playoffs watching Mitchell crumble. Now I have to see Harden crumble. I'm just so sick of it every year. I love him, but I do feel like Donovan Mitchell cannot be your number one player on your team. He is just not a number one. He's a great player, great scorer. Most teams in the NBA have those, though. You can find a Donovan Mitchell anywhere. A guy that can shoot the ball really well and put up a lot of points. Most teams have one of those. Donovan Mitchell's just a little bit better, but not by much. So, I look at Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson goes out there. He has his signature move. He can get open. He's so crafty and unguardable. And in the fourth quarter, he is one of the most clutch players. He goes out there and just dominates, takes over a game. Donovan Mitchell doesn't really do that. He'll do it a few times in the regular season. In the playoffs, though, when did Donovan Mitchell take a game over? Never really happens. James Harden. James Harden's literally known for being a playoff choke artist. He's not going to take over a game. So we just don't have that killer instinct guy that can take over a game. LeBron would be that guy if they got him. But again, at what cost? If you're getting him for nothing, for veteran minimum, or like you're trading like a future first round pick just to get him, whatever, I don't care. Do that. I would do that all day. But if you have to trade Allen or, Mobley, which I would never do that for LeBron, but if you have to trade like a key piece for LeBron James, I'm not doing it. But again, I don't know. I don't have any thoughts. I do think they should have fired Kenny Atkinson. I know we're a couple of weeks behind, but
he should have been gone after that game was over.
What he did in game one is unforgivable. To fail your team like that, to just watch your team get punched in the face, and you just let them keep getting it without calling a timeout, without making any adjustments, to me is inexcusable. If you do that on a fucking Tuesday in December in a meaningless game, whatever, we'll forget about it. You did it in game one of the playoffs where you blew a 23-point lead. Unacceptable. And then I said it after that game. I said the Cavs are done. There's no chance they can win this series now because they're just emotionally and mentally drained. Sure enough, they got swept and blown out in every game. So that killed the team. And if you're a player, how would you look at your coach next year, knowing what happened last year? You're never going to forget that. How can you ever trust this guy? How can you ever take him serious? How can you ever respect him? For me, the biggest mistake the Cavs made this offseason was retaining Kenny Atkinson. And I'm waiting for them to make their second biggest mistake, which they don't have a choice. I get it, but it's going to be extending James Harden. So the Cavs, I don't know. They need to make some big moves, and I'm not too confident in what they can do.
Yeah, I wish they would have. Listen, Atkinson needs to go. I liked what he did this year. It seems like he had the team most of the season, right? They bought into it. And then when the playoff time came, it's like everything went out the window. That this guy like was all about this entire season. And had we kept our coach, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of him. He needs to go. He's now a meme to me. He's a joke. He just needs to go.
Analytically.
Dude, it's so funny because you can use that for anything now. That's one of my favorite things to share with my buddies is like, this analytically, that is correct.
I said that yesterday to my buddies after the Spurs one. I was texting and talking shit, and I was like, what did I say? I said something about like game one, the Spurs blew that lead in the fourth quarter. Game two, the Spurs, Wemby made a couple bad passes, and I said then game three, the Spurs won as they should. I said analytically, the Spurs are up 3-0 in the series right now. Just rubbing it in my buddies' faces who are Knicks fans, so I use it all the time.
Dude, Wemby is very passionate, man. That second game loss was 100% on him.
Guaranteed. And he came out after the game and he's like, I'm playing terribly. He's like, if I can step my game up a little bit, he goes, we'll win this series. And then boom, comes out game three, wins the game because he stepped it up and played better. That's another thing.
I need 25 and 8 out of him. I need 25 and 8 out of him tonight. I got him for a double. I got him for the 25 points, 8 rebounds. I
think that could happen. No problem. I think that's easy.
Yep.
He'll get that. Again, I don't know what that says. Cleveland, that was for you. Those are backwards. Okay, whatever. My bad. I thought that was an NBA thing. So the finals, game 4 is tonight, happening literally in about 10 minutes. It'll be starting. And it's 2-1 Knicks. Knicks were on a historic run, and everybody in the world was already ready to crown them. And I do think, if the Spurs win tonight, you're 2-2 going back to San Antonio. Backs are against the wall for the Knicks. But I do think tonight the Spurs need to play great basketball. The Knicks are rejuvenated. They took that punch on Monday night, and I think they're going to come out and really give it their all. But the one thing that's working for the Spurs, and this is one thing I told people about this weird run that the Knicks were on, they were getting just insane production from everybody. Every player off their bench. It even happened in game 3 when they brought in Jordan Clarkson, who hadn't played at all in the finals. He just started making a bunch of shots. It's so rare that guys do that. But Mike Brown has this group of guys on his bench. Whoever he goes to, they're productive. He can put in his starting 5, and then he can put in Mitchell Robinson and Mitchell Robinson's out there getting rebounds, blocking shots, going to the free throw line. He's a terrible free throw shooter, but I digress. Then Landry Shamet has been shooting 100% basically from three. Mikal Bridges was shooting like 90% for the last two series, or throughout the playoffs, I should say. And then you're getting, Miles McBride crushing it from three. You're getting Jose Alvarado's hitting shots. Just everybody on the Knicks was playing historically great. And then games 1 and 2, Karl Anthony Towns was the best player on the Knicks by far. He was the Finals MVP, no question about it.
He hasn't been that good all playoff. Yeah.
In his whole career, really. I've never seen him play this well. And then game 3 hit, Spurs figured him out, and Karl Anthony Towns was okay, wasn't as productive, and the Spurs win the game because they made Jalen Brunson try to beat them. Jalen Brunson is a phenomenal player, but Jalen Brunson probably is not going to carry a team to a championship. Jalen Brunson was shooting like 25% this series. That's terrible. He's chucking up a lot of really bad shots. He's turning the ball over. The Spurs see that. The Spurs are going, you know what? This guy's struggling. Make him beat you. Don't let the guys that are hitting all their shots beat you, because that's beating you. Don't let Karl Anthony Towns get a shot. Don't let Mikal Bridges get an open shot. Let Jalen Brunson take it. Let Josh Hart take it. And they did that game 3, and they won game 3, albeit it was a close one. It was still a very fun back and forth game. Fans need to shut up and quit crying about the flagrant fouls and blah, blah, blah. It's the finals. They're playing physical. The refs are letting it go on both sides. I love the way they're officiating. I love the way that this series has been going, and that's why I'm so pumped to go watch the rest of the game, or the series, here in a minute. But I've been loving it so far. I'm still sticking with the Spurs to win it. That would have been my prediction when we started the round, and I am sticking to that.
It's a good pick. I think the Spurs pulled off too. I think if Wemby just gets in the zone like he was game 3, you can't beat that team. They're just that good.
And the scary thing about them is they're all so young. Like we're watching a dynasty be created more than likely.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's all around a big man again in San Antonio.
You hear that a lot, like, the Celtics won the championship a few years ago, and everyone was probably like, oh, dynasty, here they are. They finally figured it out. Tatum got his championship. They're a dynasty. Then the Thunder win last year. Same thing. Everyone says, Thunder, dynasty, here it is. You have the MVP. This team's young. They keep going. And then they got eliminated this year due to injuries mostly, but they did get eliminated. Wemby, on the other hand, is one of those special players that, yes, I think we are watching a dynasty be created, because I think he's a phenomenal player that's only going to be getting better. And I also think he is going to be the type of player that everyone's going to want to play for. So they're going to have no trouble getting free agents, getting good players in there. And I think he does have that attitude, as you mentioned. He loves to win. He gets pissed off when they lose. He is an emotional player, which I love. And you can tell that he is out there because he wants to win a championship. And I love that. I want to see guys that have that heart. And yeah, he's super young. Like, again, he's not even at his prime yet, and he's dominating. So I love it. I love watching Wemby play. That's why I'm very pumped to go watch this game here in a few minutes. But with that said, we will talk again in a couple of weeks. We'll do another one. We'll figure it all out. But let's go to everyone's favorite segment, and let's welcome our friend in from the new up-and-coming Toy Story movie, actually, Taylor Swift. And we will do just the tip. Kyle, I don't know if you have one. I don't have a picture for yours because I don't think you sent one to George. So if you have one,
I do have one. I don't have a picture for it. Sorry, but it's a new audiobook / book. I started reading it as a book, but then I've been traveling so much that I've been listening to it as an audiobook, and I think it's something you'd love. It's called Big Fan: Two Friends, 82,000 Miles, and the Wild, Wonderful Sports We Live In. We love. It's basically two guys. Michael Schur, you know who that guy is, don't you?
Yeah.
He is the guy. He played Mose on The Office, but he's also like a writer for a lot of the big comedy shows. Him and his buddy, who's a sports writer, basically wrote this book, and they came together over the last lot of years to talk about fandom, right? It covers all kinds of fandom. Like, why are we fans of what we love? Why are we fans of sports? Why are we fans of concerts? Why are we fans of whatever? So the book covers all these different events that they did. And it's like, it leads off, for example, and I'll just give you the first one. They both traveled to England to go watch the World Championship of Darts, right? So they talk about like the location it was in, the fans who showed up, what they were wearing, how disgusting the location was, like everything they partook in. And it goes into detail about like all these different things and different sports that exist that maybe aren't mainstream. They talk about NFL, they talk about baseball, talk about collecting baseball, football cards, all that stuff. To me, it's a good read. It's a good listen, I should say. I think you'd love it. So, like I said, it's called Big Fan. Look, I'll send you a picture of it so you can look it up when you get a chance. But it's a big long listen. But I love it so far. It's really cool. It really kind of like
that sounds really good. I would definitely like to hear that. So I will check that out. That's you have to send me a link if you can, if you don't mind, or a picture of it or something.
Yeah, I will. Yep.
Perfect. My pick this week was a late edition. We just watched this movie on Saturday night, actually, Tara and I did, and it is Hokum, the new horror movie with Adam Scott. I will say, let me start by telling you that it was not, it's not a new super favorite of mine, if that makes sense. I don't want to downplay it. I do have my issues with it. I thought Adam Scott, I don't like Adam Scott as an actor, personally. I think Adam Scott's very bland. He doesn't have a lot of range. He's the same guy in everything, which is fine. For certain roles, he's perfect. But for this movie, I didn't like his demeanor. I didn't like his acting. So I think they could have found somebody better to play the main character. But either way, still, I enjoyed it. Long story short, it's about Adam Scott's character as a writer. And his dad passes away. And his mom had already been dead. He has their ashes. And he remembers they stayed at a hotel in Ireland, and that was for their honeymoon. They loved it. They wanted to go back, but they couldn't because his mom died not that long after their honeymoon when she was young. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go there. I'm going to spread their ashes, by the tree that they loved there, and blah, blah, blah. So he goes out there. He's a writer, and he's talking to the people, and they tell him, he goes, can I stay in the honeymoon suite? I imagine that's where my parents stayed. And they go, no, that's off limits. It's haunted. There's a witch that lives in there, so we don't let anybody in there. That was what the workers told him. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I don't believe in witches. This is nonsense, whatever. Similar to The Shining, they're closing down for the season. It's their slow seasons. They're getting ready to close down. He decides to, thank you, I got it. He decides to go into, he meets a guy that helps him get in there. I won't spoil anything, but he ends up in the honeymoon suite. And then that's where everything starts going crazy. And I don't want to spoil anything. I won't say a word, but the tension for some of the scenes that build up the fear was so great. I haven't felt that in a movie in a long time. And I love horror movies. And 99% of the time I watch them and I know like a jump scare's coming, like the tension that they're
Right.
building. It's so fake and phony. And you're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. And I don't feel like my heart rate doesn't go up at all. This one, not a ton. Again, this isn't a new classic for me, but it was enough to where I was like, oh shit, I really like how they filmed that, how they set up like the what's the word I'm looking for? The not tension. Yeah, they built up the shit, whatever. They built it up to get you ready for like the scare. Anticipation, that's the word I'm looking for. Fuck. But they built it up perfectly. It was so well done. But then a couple things happened with Adam Scott's character. I hit my mic, sorry, where he just did some shit. And I'll tell people about it after. I don't want to spoil anything, but there was just times where his character was so stoic in a moment where like any normal human being would be freaking out. And he's just kind of like, And I just was like, fuck you, Adam Scott, be a better actor. But I digress. It was a very good movie. The scenes when he's in the honeymoon suite where there's super like tension. I don't want to spoil anything because I can't like give too many details on where it is exactly in the film, but phenomenal, truly great. I look forward to watching this one again, just for those scenes. And I definitely recommend it for anybody out there. It was only like an hour and 45 minutes, not too bad, but really, really good. One of the better horror movies I've seen over the last few years. So definitely check it out if you get a chance.
I have to give it a watch. Yeah, no, that's great. Jess has been looking for a new horror movie to watch, so I'm sure she's putting it on her list if she's still watching right now.
It's excellent. Highly recommend. Some slow spots again, a little bit, but again, Adam Scott's character irritates the fuck out of you.
I do want to watch that Michael biopic that came out. I guess it's out to rent right now if you want, or streaming somewhere. But I heard good things. I like the music biopics, and the guy they got to play Michael, I guess, is the nephew of Michael. Looks pretty damn close to him. Obviously, it sounds just like him when he talks. So I'm curious to see how really good it is.
I'll check it out. I'm not like a big Michael Jackson fan, to be honest. I don't really like him.
Well, speaking of Michael Jackson, then this was going to be my my other tip if I didn't pick this one. That 3-part documentary on Netflix right now about the trial for Michael Jackson. Did you watch that yet?
No, I haven't. I heard bad reviews. I heard from people that it wasn't great. Like you didn't really learn
Well,
anything
people
new.
who probably didn't think it was great are the people who probably think Michael never touched a kid in his life. But
That's
it's
fair.
it's definitely there's no way he didn't touch these kids. But it's a quick list. It's a quick watch. I think the episode's like 45 minutes long, and there's 3 of them. I watched it when we were at a hotel. We got back from vacation before we flew out. I was watching it, so it's a good watch. Kind of gives you the perspective. It really makes you kind of feel the ick afterwards. Like, Jesus, dude, like you really have to separate the music from the man, and love the music of Michael Jackson, what he did, but the man, utterly disgusting. So
Yeah, I mean, in the words of my favorite comedian, would you rather have a pedophile that makes great music or one that doesn't? That's fair.
true, very true.
So, one of my favorite
that's a
Louis
way to end
C.K.
the show
jokes.
right there.
Yeah, hell yeah. So now it is perfect timing. They're just about to tip off for the NBA game. We're going to go watch that. Kyle, be safe. You're on your trip.
Yep.
So safe travels coming home, and
Thanks,
good luck
buddy.
with everything with the bathroom. And we will talk soon. And everybody watching, we'll be back on probably in about 2 weeks. We'll discuss the schedules going forward. With the off season, we're kind of hit or miss. If we have shit going on, we'll just say, fuck it, we're not doing a show today. So just bear with us. We'll be back when we're back. But thank you everybody for watching. We'll talk to you again soon. And with that said, Cleveland, that was for you.